And there is the can of whole tomatoes. And right next to it, a can of tomato puree. So we have tomato puree and whole tomatoes.
But you want to be somewhere in the middle of those two.
I need to be somewhere in the middle of those two, and they don't have any. So what the fuck does Mexico have against canned tomatoes?
We got the snow. We were supposed to get, maybe not so much because you avoid living in climates that have cold
Snow.
weather. And there are other players that don't look like Big Sexy and I that are trained and designed to stop that.
They tend to move a lot faster than you and I.
And don't get me wrong, we're not the hog mollies up on the line either. We're kind of somewhere in the middle. But some of these boys are.
We're shaped like the coach.
I've never seen this happen. Oh boy, do I want to know it.
You never seen an iguana fall out of a tree?
No, but I want to.
It has to get cold. What up, sexy world travelers? It's your boy, Big Sexy, here with a big thank you to our big, sexy world travelers. They're the folks who went over to bullwiththebutthole.com and subscribe to the podcast. I want to say a big shout out to Billy with QueensHabit.com, Lee Popsicle, Margaret White, Angel Quell, Bree, Chris Lowry, Dalen Diggs, Jesus, Joshua Tarr, Michael McKenna, Sebastian Robbins, and Smitty Scoop. If you would like to have your name read out before the show, just become a big, sexy world traveler and subscribe to the podcast. Swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join the fun. Safe travels.
Bundle up, Mid-Atlantic. It is cold out there. Maybe not where Big Sexy is down in the Yucatan Peninsula, but up here where Judge Mentalist is, we got some of the snow they were calling for. And regardless of how much snow we got, it is cold out there. Hopefully that's not what we're talking about today, and we're getting tropical. Freeing our minds here on Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Take it away, my man.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. No, it is definitely not cold here in Playa del Carmen, although it is raining today. And I did get stuck out in the rain, which I hate happens. And it was one of those situations where I was doing shopping and okay, let me backtrack. My wife is making lentil soup for herself. Lentils are really good for her. They're high in protein. They're really super easy, really inexpensive to make, and she can make a variety of ways so it tastes very good. One of the key ingredients for this lentil soup is diced tomatoes.
Okay.
So she's making it. I wake up at my usual time around 10:30 in the morning. It's a nice sunny day. And, my wife eventually says, hey, are you going to the store today? I need some diced tomatoes. If you can get more, like 4 cans of diced tomatoes. And then sent me a nice list of items to buy. Some diced tomatoes, some chicken stock, some vegetable stock, some beef stock. She needed coffee, which she often needs. And I want to give the full list because I want to paint a full picture here. There was bananas. We needed bananas. We needed Zuko, which is a water additive here. It's kind of like the Mexican version of Kool-Aid packets, and they have sugar-free Zuko. So we needed some of those. And we also needed dish soap and milk and a few other items. So I have my handy dandy list, And I make my way to the store, which is the Shadrawi here in Playa, which is about a 6-minute walk from our apartment. And I go in and I'm getting all the things, running through. I know where the stock is. I know where the salsa is. We needed salsa. I got the bananas. We needed toilet paper. So I got toilet paper. I got the coffee that she likes. And I go to look for the diced tomatoes because a can of diced tomatoes should be easier to find.
Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah. I go to the aisle that has the canned vegetables, and there are no tomatoes on that aisle. Okay. Well, there's tomatoes, so maybe it's by the ketchup or the salsa. Maybe that's how they arrange it. So I go to that aisle, and there is the can of whole tomatoes. And right next to it, a can of tomato puree. Right? So we have tomato puree and whole tomatoes.
But you want to be somewhere in the middle of those two.
I need to be somewhere in the middle of those two, and they don't have any. None. Zip, zero, nada. They also don't have any beef stock, which they never have beef stock. So I went, well, okay. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll run this stuff home that I got now. I'll hop on the bike and I'll ride out to the Soriana, which is another store nearby. And right next door to that is a Super Aki, which is another store. So I go home, I drop off the groceries, I gather up my tea and my headphones, because I forgot my headphones last time, but I want to be able to listen to music or podcast or whatever I decide to listen to as I ride my bike on the way to the store. I forget my bag. So I'm only getting cans of diced tomatoes and some dish soap. So I can carry that, and my bike has a basket right on the front of it, cute little white basket. And I can just put that in the basket and ride it home. That's not a problem. I don't need a bag. I'm fine. So I ride on down to the Soriana, and I lock up my bike. And I go into the Soriana and I find no tomatoes, not whole tomatoes, not tomato puree. I do find like tomato soup, right? And tomato sauce.
Yeah, all that's way in the wrong direction. Yeah.
But not like whole tomato or peeled tomatoes or anything like that. And definitely no diced tomatoes. Also, no beef stock. Well, okay. So I'll leave my bike parked at the Soriana and I'll walk next door to the Aki. And I walked next door to the Aki, and I didn't think they'd have it, and I was right. They didn't have anything. I was all fine. Okay. So I'll go back, get my bike, and I'll ride to the Mega Soriana, which is like the Soriana, but bigger, because Mega. It's like the Mexican version of Walmart. I ride down to Mega Soriana, lock up my bike, go in. Now, this place is fucking huge. Also, today is January 6th, which in Mexico is the Day of the Kings, Reyes de los Magos, right? So, and they had free king cake out for people to take and sample. And I had some king cake while I was walking through the Mega Soriana, and I walked to the aisle where I think the tomatoes should be. I go to the canned vegetable aisle, no tomatoes. No whole tomatoes, and then salsa and sauces are on another aisle, so I go through that aisle. No canned tomatoes at all, none. And there is the can of whole tomatoes, and right next to it, a can of tomato puree. Right, so we have tomato puree and whole tomatoes.
But you want to be somewhere in the middle of those two.
I need to be somewhere in the middle of those two, and they don't have any. Okay. There's also an Aki next door, a Super Aki next door to this Mega Soriana. I'll go next door. It's a bigger store. Maybe they'll have what I need. I go in, I walk around, They do not have any diced tomatoes at all.
Weird.
Okay. So then I ride my bike. Well, I come out of there and it's raining. And it's raining hard. And I go, well, I'll try to wait out the rain until, so I can ride down to the Walmart because they have a Walmart here. So I ride down to the Walmart and just see if I can just go to Walmart and pick it up. Because Walmart should have diced tomatoes.
Almost got everything.
I go, I hop on my bike. I said, well, it's slow enough in the rain. I can get a little wet. It's okay. It's just a little water. Mind you, I forgot my bags, which has my poncho in it and my umbrella in it, and I left those at home. And of course, it started raining. And I tell myself all the time, never leave those at home. It's gonna start raining if you leave it at home.
Yeah.
And I hate it when Mexico proves me right. I go to the Walmart. Then I get inside and it's packed, like Walmarts tend to be. Lines are super crazy long, but I'm like, hey, if I can get what I need here, perfect.
Yeah.
I walk all the way across the store because, of course, the groceries on the far side of the store. And I'm going through the aisles. No diced tomatoes. I go to one of the employees who's stocking the shelves and I ask, do you have any diced tomatoes? I specifically said, hold on, let me pull it up for you. Do you have diced tomatoes? Tienes tomates cortados en cubitos. That's what I said, or tried to say anyway. And she went, Started looking around the shelf she was stocking and took me to a place that I had already looked and didn't see any diced tomatoes and was looking there and then just kind of did the, no, sorry, no. So Walmart, no diced tomatoes, also no beef stock. Well, shit. And now the rain's coming down hard. So I go to where I have my bike parked and I am waiting for this rainfall to die down a bit. And that's when I messaged the wife and like, I guess they just don't have any diced tomatoes in the city near us anywhere. It's just nothing. She goes, well, maybe I'm not supposed to have my lentils today. If you go and get just some regular tomatoes, I'll dice them up myself. I say, cool. I'll take a ride I'll go back to the Chedraui and they have tomatoes. But I realized that the Mega Soriana is closer. So I'll just go there. And plus they have the free King's cake. So I can get me some more free King's cake. I ride back and it's raining. I said, well, I'm tired of waiting. I want to get this done. Now, mind you, this journey started around 10:45 a.m. It is now like 1:30. I've been doing this. I ride back to the Mega Soriana. I park the bike again. I go upstairs because the Mega Soriana is on the second level of this facility. I make my way past the free king cake. I get me a couple slices, and I go to the produce section. There are no tomatoes. Like none.
Well, I can do the math here to find out why there are no diced tomatoes, because you got to start with fresh tomatoes. But why there are no fresh tomatoes makes no sense to me.
I didn't know how to respond. You're like, I must have passed them. I walked around that produce section 3 times, up and down every single aisle going, they got to be here. They got to have tomatoes. How do you not have tomatoes?
Yeah.
Well, Mega Soriana did not have tomatoes. So I grabbed me a couple drinks because by this time I'm thirsty. And I go down to my bike. And I know the Chedraui does because I saw them there when I was there the first thing in the morning. I said, fine. The rain has slowed down. I ride my bike to the Chedraui, lock the bike up again, go in. There are the tomatoes. I finally grab a handful of tomatoes, and it's the produce quality ain't all that great. So I spend some time looking and curating some decent tomatoes for the missus. Wrap them up, get everything else that we need. Other things, buy a couple more bananas because I love bananas. It's good to have bananas. Finally make it home. I make it home at about 2:15 or so. Right. And then you and I started talking about what are we going to record. So I go in, I grab the laptop, get everything together. And I'm amazed that there are no diced tomatoes. I posted in my WhatsApp group for Mahjong, said, what the fuck does Mexico have against canned tomatoes? Because I can't find them anywhere. How does Walmart have 7 rows dedicated to children's toys? 7, I counted. 7 rows dedicated to children's things, right? Toys, bikes, games, some clothing, 7 fucking rows, and not have any diced tomatoes. They have 1,000 different types of ketchup, but no diced tomatoes.
We're just taking it too far, man. Taking it too far.
I guess I'm expecting too much. And I was mad. I didn't want to go to Walmart. Like, I've been boycotting Walmart because once they changed their DEI rules or programs and policies, I'm like, oh, well, fuck you, Walmart. I mean, you're not, whatever. I'm out. I'm not shopping anymore. And then I bite the bullet like, oh, fuck. At least I know they'll have what I need. Nope. I could have saved all that trouble and not riding in the wind, getting the rain and getting soaked. If I just bought tomatoes at the Chedraui when I first went in the morning. So that was my morning and afternoon.
Did you get any sort of response or answer from the group that indicates that this is a norm, or are you just at a weird spot where they just don't happen to have them right now, or what's the deal?
In the group, my friend posted, my friend Tamala, shout out to Tamala, posted, right? I found them at the Chedraui and Plaza Las Americas a couple of times, which the last time I bought them might have been where I got them because I knew it was a big store. I thought it was the Mega Soriana, but it might have been the Chedraui, the Super Chedraui at the mall here. But that's a taxi ride away. I wasn't riding my bike that far and definitely not in the rain. And definitely not for just 4 cans of diced tomatoes. Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck they've had. And I've had problems finding diced tomatoes here all the time. Right. My wife got upset at me because I've got fire roasted diced tomatoes. And I said, you do the shopping. You see how difficult it is to find diced tomatoes, and you come back to me with what is okay in terms of diced tomatoes.
Yeah.
So she eventually came back and said, okay, you know what? Fire roasted diced tomatoes are fine. Yeah, because otherwise you don't have any diced tomatoes.
That's wild.
Insane.
Like,
yeah. So
especially the one that you went to, which I think was the first one you said you went to, that had whole tomatoes in the cans, and the tomato paste or sauce, whatever, the goalposts, but nothing in the middle. Like,
nothing in the middle.
Because there's like, I want to say 4 or 5, maybe even as many as 6 different stops along that chain of how
whole tomatoes peeled, tomato sauce, chopped tomatoes, just peeled cherry tomatoes. Sauce, whole, next to each other. That's it. I even looked on the tags to see if maybe they were just out.
Yeah.
They didn't have a tag for it. Yeah, but that's where I ended up going back to get the fresh tomatoes.
That's wild.
So it's been a day. It's been a day. How's your
I don't
day
have
been?
any tomato stories this week.
Well, give it time. Give it time. It's only Monday.
It is. It is only Monday.
How's your day going today?
Well, we got snow. We were supposed to get maybe not so much because you avoid living in climates that have cold
Snow.
weather and inclement weather. But
Right.
we have gotten used to, over the past 6-8 years, maybe decade, of being routine to have these outlandish forecasts of, you're going to get 12 to 28 inches or all this other ridiculousness. And they show all these maps and then people will start editing them and making them look like penises and then put those maps out and all this other stuff. And it's all just like doom and gloom and all of this. And then you can't find milk or eggs or diced tomatoes on any of the shelves in the supermarkets here. There, I worked it in. And it's just, the toilet paper's all flying off the shelves and all that other stuff. And then nothing. They've even gotten to, all right, insert that moment of old man yelling at the clouds here.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school, high school, middle school, whatever, they canceled school when there was snow on the ground.
Right.
Here now, 2024, and for the better part of the past decade, I guess, they're going to cancel the snow based on a forecast. And there have been several times.
Really? Wait, they'll based on a forecast there can be no snow on the ground and they'll cancel school?
They canceled school last night before Flurry 1 was in the air.
Wow.
I would say that there are at least 3 or 4 times in the past 5 years here in this area, this county specifically, where they have canceled school based on a snow forecast that never came. A lot of times it comes and then whatever, but this time we got snow. We did not get the 10 to infinity inches that we were warned about. I would say 2-ish here, specifically where I am and on the path that I took to get to my office this morning. So I'm not going to speak even for the whole county. I was told that Baltimore City, which is like 45 minutes from here, got hit hard and then it took a turn, which is why we didn't get as much.
Right.
That they might have gotten like 6 or 8 inches in Baltimore City. But I would say, especially from driving into my office around the time that school buses would have been on the roads, that canceling school today was the right move, because I averaged probably about 35 miles an hour on my way into the office today. And normally it'd probably be 55.
Okay. So what's the normal speed?
45 to 55 would have been the normal speeds that I would get on the biggest chunks of the roads that I'm on. But the average today was definitely more like 35. So definitely moving with some caution. The roads were not completely clear. The snow was still coming down at the time. And I'm looking out the window now. It's not. It has stopped for a couple of hours. The roads now, and it's almost 4:00 in the afternoon here now. Probably mostly clear, or at least I anticipate from what I'm looking outside my window and seeing my road home to be relatively clear and smooth. So definitely warranted, but schools for today were canceled before Flurry 1 was in the air.
Wow.
On unequivocal, no argument. Which I get it. They don't want all this last minute stuff, and I get that, but like so it's cold. It's definitely like in the 20s right now. Saturday, I think, and we've had cold weather all weekend. I'm checking.
We definitely need a big, sexy digital nomad weather drop.
We don't talk about the weather too much, but
which is why we need a drop for it. Every time it happened, it warrants some kind of musical cue and introduction, which would be cute. So if any of our listeners want to put one together, feel free to do so.
Saturday it was cold, and the Baltimore Ravens had the last regular season game of the year at home. And I, with my schedule, I've been selling tickets to almost every game this year. I have season tickets. I've attended one game in person because of my schedule, and decided that I didn't want to go to this one. I had some other stuff going on. A colleague of mine's birthday, and they were having a dinner that we got invited to. And, you know, NFL games are fun. I enjoy them. It's the reason that I have the season tickets. But, you know, when somebody's having something like that, I'm going to go to that instead of going to and sitting in a stadium with 70, 80,000 other people on something that I could watch mostly when I get home. Would I have liked to have seen certain elements of this game that I missed, including the 355-pound nose tackle intercepting a pass, literally dropping back in coverage and intercepting a pass? I'll send you a link of the video. It's worth fucking seeing. It's Michael Pierce, first interception of his career. He's probably been playing for like 8 or 10 years. Big boy, run stopper. For those of you who don't understand the sports ball, there's really 2 ways to move that ball. You hand it off to somebody and they run, and there are certain players on defense that are built to stop that, or you throw the ball and a guy catches it. And there are other players that don't look like Big Sexy and I that are trained and designed to stop that.
They tend to move a lot faster than you and I.
And don't get me wrong, we're not the hog mollies up on the line either. We're kind of somewhere in the middle. We're not, pushing 400 pounds, but some of these boys are.
We're shaped like the coach.
Yeah, probably most of them, yes. Not Andy Reid, but no. Andy Reid's an enigma. But to see this guy and just to have a base understanding of what's supposed to happen. And I showed this to my wife and she appreciated it. And she doesn't even want to fucking go or watch these games on TV. And she was even getting a chuckle out of it. Because this is a guy that, he's a Pro Bowl player, top of his game for his position. Like I said, he's probably been playing in the league for 10 or 12 years. First interception.
How far did he get?
He like 6 yards.
Okay. So his job was to catch the ball. And once he put it in his hands, it
wasn't his job at all. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and the quarterback threw it into his arm, and he was like, and he does a little slide like 4 or 5 yards in, like a quarterback would do a slide. Because this was also, keep in mind, what he did was the right thing to do, because this is the very, very end of the game. The Ravens are up. Him getting this interception ices the game. The game is over at this point in time because of him. I mean, it was highly unlikely that the Browns were coming back to win the game anyway.
Right.
But this was
icing on the cake.
It sure was. It looks to me like there was only about 2.5 minutes left in the game when this happened.
This is the jelly on the croissant, and he could have.
It sure is.
They would have tried to hurt him.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is obviously when you search looking for one thing, you get into the rabbit hole to figure out everything else. He's 355 pounds now. Back before the draft, he was only 330 pounds.
Okay.
And he ran a 5-second 40-yard, which is, for a boy that size, is fast.
He has some really strong legs.
8 years in the league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is his 9th season, 8 active, because he was one of the 2020 opt-out players during COVID. Yeah. I mean, he's great player. I think he's probably made several Pro Bowls. I'm not 100% sure, but to run a 5, I couldn't run a 5 40-yard dash right now.
No, I could run a 40-yard dash, but it's not going to be in 5 seconds. It's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you this link. I mean, you're gonna watch this over and over again when I send it to you. I mean, not exactly when I send it to you, but when we're done, because it's It was something special. What the hell was
Is this our first recording for the new year?
What's that?
This is our first recording in the new year, yes?
The first one that we're doing in the new year, but we dropped one on 1/1.
Right, but I mean, this is our first time talking since New Year's, since 2024.
Yeah.
Excellent. What did you do for New Year's Eve?
Nothing. We did stay up, but then we ended up watching some movie because of the magic box that gives us everything. We ended up watching some movie. We did stay up till midnight, but didn't even watch the ball drop. And I'm like, what was the point of us staying up? Why did we make such a big deal about staying up to not celebrate? Not that I gave a shit about celebrating, but yeah.
You could have went to bed.
I could have went to bed. No complaints.
What was the movie?
We didn't do anything special. We didn't go anywhere.
Do you remember the movie?
Inside Out 2?
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, it was fine. And again, with this box, we have access to stuff that's still in theaters, which is crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah. We had dinner. We followed through with our dinner reservations. India Jones had some delicious Indian food. Shout out to Sunny and Renee, who were our dates for the dinner. And then we went to our friend Chris, had a thing on his rooftop. He hosts a philosophy meeting on his rooftop. So they had a meeting beforehand, and then people hung out afterwards to do the fireworks and things around the area. We popped in, said hello, dropped off some grapes, took pictures, and then left. Because we wanted to be on our friend Renee's roof for the actual turning of midnight. For two reasons. One, she has a very high rooftop, and they even built this little bonus step-up area where you can literally see 360 degrees all of Playa del Carmen, and nice. And you can even see Cozumel in the distance. And so we got up there and watched the fireworks. And the second reason is she lives right across the street from us. So once everything was done, we can just stumble our asses across the street.
Yeah.
Ideal night. It was wonderful. Shout out to everybody who was with us. Made some new friends, met some new folks, which is always a good thing, always a fun thing. And it was weird because it was a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, this party happens in the middle of the week. It's like, this is a holiday now. It's Wednesday. So you don't even have like the weekend to go, oh, this is what we did for the weekend. Well, what'd you do for New Year's Eve weekend? Nothing, because just regular shit, because it was so in the middle of the week. I will tell you,
coming back into my office on a Thursday that felt like a Monday was the weirdest thing.
Right. That part. Friday, we went out to Cancun or near Cancun to go see our godsons. Shout out to Levon and James and William. And big shout out to Cassie, who drove us there. With her little boy Mateo. We all just hung out by the pool all day long. I did fuck all by the pool. It was lovely. Well, there was an iguana incident.
Oh?
My wife is terrified of reptiles. And there were two iguanas that were creeping. Actually, saw three iguanas that were creeping around where we were sitting in the pool area. And my wife's phobia is like for real. She not just doesn't like them, she hates them. Like, she's terrified of them. And I'm mad because I didn't take any pictures because I was too busy, trying to comfort my wife, and she was standing behind me, and I was trying to scare off the iguanas, and it was.
You guys don't spend much time in driving around in South Florida or Central Florida, do you?
No, on purpose.
Yeah, because there are billboards down there about, like iguanas falling out of trees, and there are iguana exterminators, so to speak, like pest control people, because they literally fall out of the sky.
I think they do the same in Mexico as well. I've seen them around about where we are.
I've never seen this happen, but boy, oh boy, do I want to.
You never seen an iguana fall out of a tree?
No, but I want to.
It has to get cold, right? So it gets cold, and then they sleep, and then they kind of freeze over,
They lose
and then
their
they
grip
fall
or
out,
something?
and then they lose their grip and just fall out of the tree.
All right, I'm putting this on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't really orchestrated a full-on bucket list yet, but
It's going
this
in
is
there.
the first item on my unofficial bucket list is seeing an iguana fall out of a tree.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens so frequently, there are signs for it.
Yeah.
Right. But we had a beautiful day, other than the iguanas terrifying my wife. And then, your boy performed 2 nights in a row, Thursday night, Friday night, at a piano bar. And I say performed because it was karaoke, but there was nobody there. So it became the Big Sexy Show.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Sandra and Sophie, 2 sisters. Sandra lives here. Sophie was visiting, who came out to support both nights. And it was very much the case of like at around 11, they started around 10:30 or so. Started singing up around 11:30. Sandra's like, all right, we're doing one more, then we're headed out, right? And I looked at her like, no, that's not a thing. And closed it out. Like I sang for 2.5 hours, almost three hours, with some breaks here and there. And then did it again on Friday night after spending the entire day in Cancun. And like I thought I was tired. I thought I was going to call it a day. Wife was wiped out. We got back. Wife crashes out on the couch, and then I'm just up and I'm hyped. I get hype at night. I'm night hype. So I go back out. I message Sandra saying I'm going to karaoke again. And so her and Sophie came to hang out again and did it again. Performed for about 2 hours all night long, entertaining people walking by on 5th Street. Some people stopped by and came in and hung out, but mostly I'm just entertaining the few people who were there to celebrate. So shout out to Franco who hosts that. Shout out to Negro Amaro for being the place where that can happen. Other people have invited me to other karaoke bars, and my thing is like, how busy is it? And not that busy. That means it's busy. It's too busy for me because I am a diva. I want to perform, and I want to perform as much as possible. So, and I'll still I love business. I want people to come up and enjoy the time. I mean, I hosted karaoke forever, so I know how that goes. But I'm not afraid to keep the show going if it dies down.
Yeah.
And I do know a lot of songs. I find this out because I did not repeat a single song from Thursday to Friday. No repeats.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also helps that I had 2 beautiful women to impress. That is a real thing. Yeah.
Well,
So
my first live show of 2025 is this Friday. So 2 days before we drop this. So I'm looking forward to that. Been a little while since I've done a public show. So that's pretty cool. I spent basically Q4 was mostly private stuff, which I'm fine with. But
you're doing a live show.
Public. Like
you're doing a public show. I thought you said you're going to a concert. I thought you were going to a concert.
Oh, no. I'm doing
you're the
Between Two Minds show this Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then
how big of a house?
Like 100.
Okay.
So that should be fun. It's the Cult Classic Brewery that we did this
you've done that
last year or year before or something. Really cool spot. I love performing there. And then the next thing on my calendar is the Performing Hypnosis Summit, which I'm super excited about. I've been doing these interviews with a lot of the presenters, and it's just knowing what people are going to come and talk about and the different opportunities that exist in this world. It's so easy to get fired up about. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I haven't and it was funny because I was looking back on it, and I have not the last time I was in Las Vegas was last February, January into February for the 2024 Performing Hypnosis Summit.
Really?
I think so. I think that was the last time I was there because I had so much other stuff going on.
True.
Like
True.
time I would normally spend in Vegas, I was in Oregon, I was in Rochester, I did that show down in Atlanta, like all these different, I got
You
too
went to
busy.
Michigan too, right? Were you in Michigan?
Michigan, yep, Michigan. This year I got
Cruise, couple cruises.
yeah, 2 cruises. The New Year's cruise and then the one that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was crazy. I was all over the place in Egypt. I did the Egypt thing was this year, so that was a big chunk of time.
Yeah, 2024 was a busy ass year.
Yeah.
I did a breath work intensive yesterday before the mahjong, and shout out to Nikita, who ran the workshop. It was a pretty cool experience. But we started off by talking about what was biggest challenge of 2024. You talk about what we're proud of and look forward to 2025. What do you feel like if you're on the end of that and you've succeeded with everything you wanted to do? I'd remind myself that 2024 was, we did the whole issue with getting Fox into the UK thing was in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the most difficult thing that I experienced last year, to my recollection. It's funny because I can think mainly about Playa del Carmen because it's the most recent history, but I did start 2024 in Spain. Right, we did the grape ceremony in Torremolinos for New Year's with our friends Laura and Joe. That's how we spent New Year's Eve last year, or the year before last, because now it's this year.
Right.
And last year was 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Time is stupid.
The same New Year's Eve you're talking about, I was on the Disney cruise.
Right, exactly. So it's funny how far we've come in a year, and 2025 seems to be no different. 2025 is going to be hopefully that type of fun, outgoing, exciting, crazy year.
Should be. Hell, especially if anything happens with what I told you about before we went on the air, that's going to be crazy.
That'll be insane. I can't wait to hear more about that when you can discuss it properly.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about how you weren't going to be a judge, but that does open up all these other possibilities of things you would have had to turn down if you were.
Yeah, it definitely that is an opportunity. Like I would have taken the bull by the horns with that. And I think in many ways it would have been great. But as far as me being an entertainer, it would have been incredibly limiting. It wouldn't have stopped. At least I don't think it would have stopped. But now I don't have to worry about whether it would have stopped.
Right.
I
can lean in.
What's that?
Now you can lean in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I definitely, if you go back and look at the social media for my entertainment stuff from November and December, it definitely hit a lull, and that was intentional because not knowing where I was going to be, I wasn't looking to stoke any fires and get people trying to book me for stuff that I might have to bail on or reschedule or otherwise. And now I'm getting invited to stuff that I didn't even ask to be invited to.
That's the best.
I got an acceptance to come speak at the 2025 Heartland Hypnosis Conference at the end of April, which I never applied for. Not the 2025 one. I applied in 2024. They accepted me, and then Egypt was a conflict, so it was. And I intentionally did not apply this year because I have a trial in one of my law cases the week before, the week that leads up to it, and this is a weekend conference. So I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go to this conference at all. And then they're like, "Hey, we want you to speak," and I'm like, "Oh." And the topic was the topic that I had applied for the year before. So, I sent him an email and I was like, hey, I'm probably in. Can I present on the last day because I've got this going on, and who knows? Maybe the case settles. Maybe the case goes to trial. Maybe the trial's a little bit shorter because it's scheduled for a week. I don't think it's going to take a whole week, but I'm like, I don't want to clean up I want to fix the logistics of this. Only want it to be my logistical nightmare, not yours. So put me on the Sunday. That way I know that I'm able to come out, and hopefully I get there for the whole thing. But yeah, that's cool. And these interviews that I've been doing leading up to the Performing Hypnosis Conference, part of my email was, hey, do you want me to do this for Heartland? And he's like, hell yeah. So I love doing it because I talk to all these people that are doing things that are different than me, or, a couple of degrees of separation from me, but in the same world. And it really makes me realize how much I truly love this stuff, because I just get so fired up about it. Like I think it was Friday. Boy, time is just not real yet.
Time is stupid.
But Friday I was the interviewee for somebody talking to me about my Performing Hypnosis Summit talk. And like, you get so fired up about it. It was an hour-long conversation that we originally was like, yeah, let's go fire this off. These things usually run about 15, 20 minutes. Let's go crack one out. You watch this interview. If you go to judgmentalist.com and hit the blog, it's like the second one down right now. Me talking to Jesse Lewis.
If we remember, we'll try to get that put up on our Patreon as well over there.
Yeah, you'll at about the 30-minute mark, how it's like, okay, we should wrap this up. Let's get this out. We're getting near the finish line here. Like that talk starts at the 30-minute mark, and that gets re-referenced at the 45-minute mark. And then finally, a little over an hour, we actually hit the brakes on the talk.
Like, oh shit, we've been talking 30 minutes since we said we're going to stop.
Yeah. And then today I got back on I'm the interviewer for a guy. And again, how long do we have? These things usually run like 20 minutes, but there's no real time limit. We were on the live stream and recording, and this is also on judgmentalist.com, for 45 minutes, and then talked for another half hour afterwards. So it just, I still will never describe the judge process and not getting it as dodging a bullet. But on regular occasions, I am reminded of where I really need to be, and doing this stuff. I just get so fired up about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, if you get a chance, feel free to pop those up over there for our Patreons at bullwiththebutthole.com.
Which, and I don't have that list. Let me see if I can get that list. But I think we should thank all of the folks that are part of this whole wonderful.
We absolutely should. I have that list right here.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna shout out to every single person who is on our list, and right now there are 28 subscribers over at bullwiththebutthole.com, our Patreon page. And in no particular order, I want to say thank you to Mike Berry. I'm just going to say the first names. Thank you to Mike, Isak, Lance, Mickey, Oi, Italo. Oh, that's Mark. Bronwyn, Asia, Joseph Kidd. I say his last name because Joe Kidd is the guy who hypnotized me.
Yeah.
For my thing. So shout out to him. Jai, J.W. Reynolds, a.k.a. Scoop Jesus, a.k.a. Scoop Cheesus. Asteftix, Galen, Jen, Tess, Joe, over there at Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast. Our shout out to Billy over there at cruisehabit.com. They're our sponsor for the program. So thanks again for being a sponsor for us.
Cruisehabit.com, bitches.
Yeah, bitches.
We want to thank Margaret, Smitty Scoop, who ran our last quiz, and we're going to have him back on soon and to keep doing that, keep going with the quiz. That was so much fun. Angel, Bree, Chris, Michael, Lee Popsicle, Sebastian Robbins, and Joshua Tarr.
Excellent.
So thank you all so much for being a part of the Big Sexy Digital Nomad community. We appreciate you all. Of course, if you want to be a paid subscriber and have your name read out at the beginning of the show, please feel free to join over there at bullwiththebutthole.com. Make me change the recording. Yeah. If you sign up, I have to go in and redo that recording and add your name to it. So make me do that. And then you get your name read out at the beginning of every episode. So thank y'all so very, very, very much. Now that we're in the new year, things are starting to happen. And I'm trying to gear the mind up. We're doing our visa run at the end of this month. Our Christmas party is this Saturday. Sorry, this coming Sunday, January 12th, 3 weeks late, 12 years straight, or 11 years straight. I think it's 11 years straight. Might be 12 years straight. I have to do the math. I don't remember how long we started doing it. And then, the big thing is coming up in March, where we're going to be on a boat, a ship, not a boat. We're going to be on a ship. For Nilla's cruise, her 50th birthday, a Princess Cruise Line out of Orlando, going to the Eastern Caribbean and St. Thomas. And of course, if you, listener, would like to join that cruise, you can do so. You can go over to gowithlisa.com/bigsexy. They are helping book that cruise out for people who want to join that cruise line with us. They have the correct cruise up there now, and it's going to be a party. It's going to be amazing. If you can go, you definitely want to be on that ship.
I might be there.
Yeah, fingers and toes, and if I could, my nose, we'll do some serious Big Sexy Digital Nomad stuff. Like if Judge Mentalist is able to make it, if you're able to make it out, Judge, we will definitely do some podcast specific stuff. We'll have tons of extra content for our Patreon. I'm really big on trying to build our Patreon and get that bigger. One of my goals for 2025 is to double our subscriber numbers. So right now I know that we have 28 subscribers. I would love to double that to 54. Nope, 54. And we'll do 56. Look, it's early.
100.
Yeah. I want to triple that.
I want to double that 28 to 100. All right. Math.
Exactly. That's what I want to do. I'm going to math it all the way to 75.
Time zone math.
100.
Doing time zone math here.
And then, I would like, half of them or 75% of them to be paid subscribers. That would be amazing. I want to get to that place in the new year as well. Do you have goals for the new year?
Yes and no.
Oh, okay. So what's the yes?
I always have goals. I don't know that what I don't do generally is sit down at a specific point in time and say, okay, between now and that point in time, I want to do X, I want to do Y, I want to do Z. So I don't have, because my world, and I'm talking about performance and entertainment wise, my world is so fluid that, and opportunities come and opportunities go. And so, like, for example, the ability for me to put together a goal that says, hey, I'm going to do 50 shows in 2025. Well, if I end up doing the San Diego and the Rochester Fringe Fests, that's half that goal right there in 2 weeks. So, I obviously I'm on board with and understand that, we adjust these goals as things change over the year, right. But like, I don't do it that way. I mean, if I were to, it would be probably, and again, the things that we talked about that I can't really release here right now potentially change the way that looks, because if I end up doing what we talked about and hit on just one of those opportunities, I've got something in my pocket that will allow me to just book whatever show I want almost whenever I want by successfully doing what we talked about. It would be bigger than going on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. It would be bigger.
Which are you going to apply for again this year?
Where they're seeking applications. Uncle RJ and I talked about a potential routine that I might, because I've been trying Mystique Dining out in the Utah and California and everything. Their booker has been bugging me for, and I don't say that in a negative way, has been, hey, do you want to come out? When can we get you on the calendar for whatever year? For probably about 2 to 3 years. And I kind of put that on hold a little bit with all the hypnosis stuff. But now, because they're dinner shows with a table, big dining table that seats like 16 or 18 people type of thing, not exactly the proper format to do a hypnosis show. So I've been working on and have most of a mentalism show that presents and looks like hypnosis. All of the effects look like, their suggestion and influence. And RJ and I were working on another piece that's probably going to go into that. So if I do book there or anywhere else that wants me to do a mentalism show and not a hypnosis show, I can still present, hey, I'm a hypnotist, but for whatever reason, they don't want me to do a hypnosis show tonight. There's not enough room here or insurance or whatever bullshit, because it's never going to be the actual reasons. It's whatever I feel like it's going to be the funniest thing to say given the setting. I'm not allowed to do that tonight. So I guarantee you what I'm going to show you tonight looks like hypnosis, but it's not. Wink. Which is a different wink than the wink that I would have done on the Carnival ship to be like, I promise you that what I'm doing here is not a hypnosis show. Wink. Which would have been, no, I'm actually doing a fucking hypnosis show, but I'm lying to you about it. I'm lying to Carnival about it. I'm weird. Okay. I don't know who's calling me right now, but I'm getting something on the caller ID that makes me think some armored car company is calling me, and there's no reason why somebody would.
Unless they're bringing you loads and loads of cash.
That would be great. I'll take it. Back up the truck. So that I think is something that may be worth throwing at Fool Us. Who knows?
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely something that could be done in 3 to 4 minutes.
Right.
But one of the things that I'm going to learn at the Performing Hypnosis Summit is how to do a 6-minute hypnosis show, start to finish. So
that's fast.
I put that together. I mean, in context to what we were talking about, all of that start to finish is 5.5 minutes. So, if I can do a whole show in 5.5 minutes, then I might say, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. I don't know if they want it, but hey, why not? Right. It's not a fooler, but I don't care about it being a fooler.
There had to be a fooler.
I don't want it. I don't care that it's a fooler. The whole point, and people miss the mark trying to fool Penn and Teller. It's cool when you do, but you want to be entertaining. You're doing this, if you're doing it for the right reason, to be able to show this video to people and get booked other places. You want Penn to sit there thinking about all the nice things he's going to say about you, not thinking about how you did the trick, because then there's no time for him to come up with nice things to say about you.
Right.
I want him to say nice shit about me. That's it. That's all I want.
That's all anybody wants. Penn to say nice shit about him, about us.
Exactly.
That's what I like. Well, cool. Yeah. So we got big things happening in 2025. Listeners, stay tuned. They got a lot going on. I've got an improv show I'm going to put together here in Playa. I'm starting my platonic touch therapy business. I'm not sure. I'm kind of bouncing around with the names of it. I was looking at not Cuddle Companion. What was it? It was Comfortable Companionship. Comfortable Companion. Comfortable Company. Yeah, looking at Comfortable Company. A possible name for that business. But listen, if you have any ideas what I should call my platonic touch business, my cuddle party business, send me those suggestions either in the comments, at me on X or Instagram at bigsexynomad. Send that wherever too. Yeah, man. Well, that sounds like a great place to wrap up. Unless you have any other news that we need to express. Listeners, do other things. Send us your stories. We need some email. We need some engagement over at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. Send us some travel stories. Let us know what you did for New Year's.
Tell us what you're going to do in 2025. We want to hear about
Tell us your plans for 2025. Don't forget to swing over to our merch store at whereisbigsexy.com. That's where, like you're putting on clothes, isbigsexy.com. We got some cool merch there. I'm reaching out to, that's the other thing I'm doing in 2025 is reaching out to other artists, and I want to commission them to make some artwork for us. You know, right now, all our artwork has been done by our friend Brogan at 7 Billion Needles, but I'm looking at my friend Angel, who's an artist and did the work for Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast. And also Wayne Geo, who's a great artist and has unique characteristics. I'd love to him to do some stuff for us there as well. So I'm going to reach out to them, put them together and give them some work and get some more artwork. If you're an artist, and graphic artist, or, you know, you like to draw or paint or whatever, you want to make some digital artwork for Big Sexy Digital Nomad, reach out, let us know. Again, looking to commission some artwork, get it done, and get it up on our merch store to sell. Also, feel free to go back through any of our previous episodes, and if anything stands out, I don't do a whole lot of characters or any really, so that, you know, not that, but anything we talk about, you know, talk about cruising, and we talk a lot about cruising and other shenanigans and crazy stuff and hypnotism and all that kind of stuff. Just feel free to go ham and have some fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, safe travels.